In part 4 of this lecture, we're going to take a quick look at some of the other qualities that IO psychologists often measure, including personality, emotional intelligence, and competencies. Let's begin with personality, which can be defined as a person's typical response across situations, across time. There are several different models of personality. The best one is the 5-factor model, or the Big Five, shown here. Openness to experience is the tendency to try new things, explore new ideas, and learn new ways of doing things. Conscientiousness is one of the strongest personality predictors. It's the tendency to be dependable, to get things done, and to perform well. Extroversion Introversion is another dimension of the Big Five. Introverts tend to be energized by being alone, extroverts by being around other people. People who are agreeable tend to get along well with other people. They are willing to compromise and coordinate. Emotional stability was originally called neuroticism. This is the tendency to remain calm and cope well with stressful situations. The Big Five dimensions are broad traits that predict broad performance. More specific traits associated with each one of these dimensions are more useful in predicting specific aspects of performance. If we wanted to predict general job performance, we might use conscientiousness. If we want to predict specific aspects of the job, like the likelihood that someone will show up on time, we should use more specific dimensions like the dependability dimension of conscientiousness. In general, personality predicts performance best in jobs where people have a higher degree of perceived control, autonomy in how they do their jobs. Think of a job where people have very little control in how they do their work. Someone who enters data or works in the restaurant industry. Using personality tests to hire people for these jobs is not going to be as useful as it would for jobs that provide more autonomy. Emotional intelligence is a relatively new construct. This refers to our ability to recognize and understand our own emotions, as well as other people's emotions. The intrapersonal aspect of emotional intelligence has to do with being able to deal with your own emotions. The interpersonal component has to do with how you respond to other people's emotions. With all these different aspects, there's quite a bit of room here for variance, for individual differences. Some people are great with other people's emotions, not so much their own, and vice versa. Still others are great at dealing with both their own and other people's emotions. Although this concept resonates with many of us, it is quite controversial. Is it really a new construct? Is it intelligence, a skill, a personality trait? How exactly do we measure emotional intelligence? Are self-report surveys of emotional intelligence really all that reliable and valid? Competencies are the final individual difference that I want to mention in this lecture. Competencies are combinations of characteristics that an organization has found to be essential to job success. The Society for Human Resource Management has a competency model that includes 9 different competencies that HR professionals need to succeed in the industry. These competencies include communication, ethical practice, and business acumen. These competencies are specific to the HR industry, and they can be knowledge, skills, abilities. Companies identify the competencies that employees need through job analysis and competency modeling.